I still remember that PS5 reveal trailer like it was yesterday. That shit had me straight geeking, man. Game trailers out the wazoo, running on a console that doesn't sound like a jet engine. A new God of War and Spider-Man Miles Morales? Sign me right up and take my money, cause I was all over that stuff, man. The first years of the PS5 were great, but that was years ago now. We're in the 6th year of this console generation, and all I can say is they had us in their first half. Ain't gonna lie now. PlayStation first party studios output has been straight up abysmal in the last few years, and they're already teasing the PS6
What?
bro, what are you talking about? We just got here. What do you mean you talking about the PS6 already? Looking back on this generation up to now, there's one question that comes to mind that should never ever be associated with a console. Where the heck are the games? To make one thing clear, I'm only talking about PlayStation's first and second party output, because third party devs have been straight tearing up the kitchen this generation, alright? Baldur's Gate 3, Elden Ring, Expedition 33, Ark Raiders. Marvel Rivals? Dog, what are you talking about? Third party devs have been straight cooking. Year after year after year. We've been getting fed by them big time this gen. Sony Studios, on the other hand, not so much. Minus Insomniac Games, of course, because my god, these niggas are carrying the PS5 on their back right now. What are you trying to tell me? These guys are going to go 3 times in a single generation? What are you talking about? 2021, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. 2023, Spider-Man 2. And this year, 2026, they're going to come out with Marvel's Wolverine? Bro, the output of these devs at Insomniac, the name makes sense. Their name definitely makes sense, Insomniacs, because these guys ain't sleeping the way they've been pumping these games out now. Like, all of PlayStation's first party studios could take a note from Insomniac Games, because there is no chance in hell these guys have the same level of productivity, because like 3 games in one generation, while most first party devs in PlayStation barely get 1 game out of this generation. Back it up, bro. Especially Naughty Dog. I mean, let's at least give flowers to the devs that went at least once a generation. While these sequels did not light up the gaming industry like their first parts did, I gotta give a shout out to God of War Ragnarok, fire game. Game of the Year candidate when it came out in 2022. And Horizon Forbidden West, which was certainly one of the sequels of all time. I mean, it is easy to rip into Horizon these days, okay? I get that. But still, at least they went and gave us a game this year in the franchise at all. I mean, they also gave us that little Lego game, but like, we don't talk about that. Guerrilla and Sony Santa Monica at least gave us a single game this generation. With all that being said, let's talk about the black sheep, the current black sheep of PlayStation Studios. Naughty Dog. Man, how the mighty have fallen off. How are you telling me the premier studio of PlayStation, the #1 developer, the minds behind the Uncharted series, Last of Us 2,
Oh my god. Oh, hell no.
did not bring out a single game this generation, and their only confirmed game, the only game they got cooking, is not even confirmed to launch for this generation. What are you even talking about, bruh? The only thing these guys have done this generation was remaster their old games. Why, bro? Be for real right now. How, Sway? How are you guys only bringing out remasters of 2 games, dog? They remastered Thelastofus for a second time, and they remastered their last PS4 game, Last of Us Part 2, again for the PS5, bro. The game came out in 2020. How are you bringing out a remaster? Like, how are you bringing out a remaster of a game you launched 4 years ago? How does that even make any sense? And it makes even less sense because Naughty Dog's games look incredible. They looked incredible the first time they came out. They didn't even need a remaster. I mean, the remaster for Last of Us 1 made sense. The first one what the hell are we even talking about? What are we even talking about that I even have to specify the first one? The game shouldn't have multiple remasters. Look at you, Skyrim, and you, Naughty Dog in general at this point. Because how do you remaster a game once, which was good enough? Because like the game looked amazing on the PS4 when it was ported from the PS3 to the PS4. How in the world do you remaster it again for the PS5? What? At this point, Naughty Dog has more. They've made more remasters this and last gen than new games. Bro, what are we even on about? We have to give them at least. I mean, can we even give them credit? We have to give them at least a crumb of credit, okay? At least a little bit, a tiny bit of credit. Because they had one game that could have changed the multiplayer landscape forever, which was cancelled. Factions 2. My god. The sequel of the multiplayer mode they made for the first Last of Us game. To be honest, I never played Factions. But the way people talked about it, the way that you can actually still get matches for Factions, this game would have been incredible. To be honest, now that I think about it, this thing could have been what Arc Raiders is right now, or at least something close to what Arc Raiders is. In the first phase, they already had ideas for extraction-like ideas, which would have been so much more, which would have been a lot more refined this time around. Because Naughty Dogs, they are perfectionists. They only bring out things when they know they're good. I gotta say, I have to give them credit. If Factions 2 came out, that would have been Sony's best live service game ever. And I know Helldivers 2 is like their biggest live service game ever, but like if there was one game that they could bring out that would top Helldivers 2, yes, Helldivers, we sold 20 million copies too, yes. If there's one game that could have beaten that, it would have been Factions 2. The cancellation of Factions is all on Sony. And I mean that quite literally, because these guys at Naughty Dog were working on Factions while developing Last of Us 2. And they said, man, this is so big, we're gonna have to make it its own game. And they were working on this game for years. Years that could have gone into a single player game. And when it was in a playable state, like this game was, I think maybe 1 or 2 years from releasing. That's how close it was. This game, they had a whole ass game in hand. And they went to Sony and said, hey, oh wait, hold up, no. It wasn't like that, because Bungie told them, hey, if you're gonna make this game, if you will support this game for years to come, this is the amount of time you have to put in, and this is the manpower. And they said, we ain't built for this, big bro. We ain't built for all this, big dog. And they went to Sony and told them, hey, we can't do this. We have to cancel the game. How, Sway? Do you have your premier single-party studio working for years on a live service game just to have them cancel it 10 meters in front of the finish line? They should have known. Yeah, they should have known. They should have known. And they should have told Naughty Dog, hey, we have to give you like a support studio or something, or anything like that, because we're gonna need a lot of manpower to keep this game floating, because the ambition for these games was to be the next big thing, the next Fortnite. And to have a Naughty Dog caliber game as a live service game, that would have taken a lot of manpower. And Naughty Dog didn't know when they were developing it, which is crazy, because you should have told them as their publisher, as their owner. But the thing that blinded them was this damn live service initiative that they've got going on. So, let's talk about this failure of an initiative now. Sony and their head of first-party studios, Herman Holt, set out to release 10 whole live service games by 2025. It is now 2026, and the only notable game out of these 10 games that has come to fruition is Helldivers 2. What are these numbers, bro? Like almost all of these 10 live service games have either been cancelled completely, like they were unannounced, completely different, shadow cancelled, we're not getting it anymore. And the only good one, the only one that is worth a damn is Thelastofus 2. While it was incredibly successful, it's not the type of success Sony was aiming for with their live service initiative. They wanted a recurring revenue generating game like something like GTA Online, something that brings in a lot of money every month. Thelastofus is still making a ton of money, but that is not the type of live service game they were aiming for. The results speak for themselves. This initiative was a total disaster. And Sony put their single player focused studios onto developing live service games. Like, these people have been developing single player games for years, decades even now. And now you want them to make live service games? With guidance from who? Bungie? Yes, that Bungie. The same Bungie that only has Destiny under its belt. A game that has been hemorrhaging players and dying like a rat in an alleyway for the past few years. Yes. They got these mofos. Okay? They got these mofos advising all of their studios on how to make a successful live service game. My brother in Christ. These guys need to learn from Sony Studios how to make fucking money. Because these guys are horrible at it. If there's anything to go by. I have no idea how Sony made a decision to buy Bungie of all studios for $3.6 billion. These guys could have given me $10 to tell them this is the worst decision you've made since pricing the PS3 at $600. And that should almost kill your entire company, so it's a pretty damn bad decision, my guy. The problem lies with the head of Sony's first party studios, Herman Holst, who said that all these L's essentially are worth it since like he only cares about giving players a diverse experience. My guy, the only experience we've got is waiting on games and Helldivers 2 and a few single player games. So the experience is pretty damn dry. The only experience I'm getting here is the Sahara Desert. Straight bad. No food, no nothing. Just dust in this bitch. Not to say that we are not releasing any games, because like we got some new IP like Returnal, gotta give it its flowers, and Astrobot, so like they still bring out games, so like they're certainly not nearly as consistent as they have been in the PS4 generation, for example. But I hate to admit that they actually need to do this, because live service games unfortunately leave single player games in the fucking dust, my guy. Because Fortnite probably made more money last year than the entire Bungie acquisition cost Sony in total. If they had a single live service game in 1 year will fund 20 God of Wars or something like that. While God of War itself will fund like maybe 4 God of Wars. Because making AAA games like Sony does is not cheap. Making games in general is not cheap, but like on the level that Sony's making them, it is almost unsustainable, to be honest, because Last of Us 2, for example. I know people hate Last of Us 2, but like, let me go real quick. Last of Us 2 cost more than $200 million in its development, okay? While Sony has other first-party studios like Sucker Punch that can make a game as great as Ghost of Yotei. Ghost of Yotei is a great game, bro. You gotta hop on that if you haven't yet. With the same budget as they have used for Ghost of Tsushima, their previous title, of $50 million, which is pretty damn impressive. While costs are ballooning everywhere, they can still hold on to such a tight budget. You can certainly see at some point that they did cut corners on a few occasions. But things like Last of Us and God of War, these games look like money. Ghost of Yotei does too, but like Last of Us and God of War do look like a lot more money. And it shows the cost these games accumulate when they're made. If Sony wants to continue making these games, and we as players of course want these games because these are Sony's best sellers, they need a live service game on that level, or at least one that actually really brings in like a few hundred millions a year, because having one of those games going will make it so much easier for them to fund multiple of the games we actually want to play. The single player story focused games we all love and enjoy. So yeah, They had to totally definitely need to get their shit together, like desperately. But yeah, the PS5 generation truly, I don't know, man. It's not looking too hot. So let's talk about the future of the PS5 generation. To be honest, I've been pretty damn negative this entire video, but I don't hate the PS5 generation. In fact, I think it was decent in a sense. And before you guys start calling me, like a grifter or something like that, no, I'm not hating just to hate. I'm just kind of disappointed that we didn't get as many single-player games from Sony themselves this time around, than like in the PS4 generation. And given the fact that a lot of them are sequels, they're not as impactful as the first games because they were quite big departures from the previous games, like Ghost of Tsushima or God of War, for example. I mean, did get banger sequels. Don't get me wrong. I really, really enjoy God of War Ragnarok, for example, and Ghost of Tsushima was a banger too. And we got pretty cool new IP as well, like Returnal, for example, or Astrobot. Need to hop on that though. But the problem is that the PS5 generation truly has earned the title of the potential generation because this generation did have the potential of being the best generation of PlayStation ever. And before you guys crucify me, like again, please take your nostalgia goggles out for this one because PlayStation came from the back of the PS4 generation, their biggest generation ever in terms of revenue. I know revenue isn't all, but like in terms of big games, I would say. I mean, we had Last of Us, we had Bloodborne. My God, please do something with Bloodborne, Sony. Great games, Uncharted, the entire Uncharted series, the essential new take on God of War. Like the PS4 generation was a whirlwind of new great games and reimaginations of games we have been playing on PlayStation. And the PS5 generation just dropped the ball. I mean, we got multiple first-party games a year in the PS4 generations, and now Sony is happy with releasing one a year, which is just not enough, to be honest. I mean, like I said, don't get me wrong, I don't hate the PS5 generation, I just think it's kinda mid, because the quantity just isn't there. The quality still is there. I mean, unless you are talking about games like Concord, which literally became the worst live service launch in gaming history. Under Sony, by the way. It's just unfortunate because this generation had the potential to be the best ever for PlayStation, and they just struck the ball. I mean, third party kept me fed this generation. I mean, we got stuff like Elden Ring, Ark Raiders, Metaphor, ReFantazio. You got this guy's got to hop on that. I think I'll make a video on that too. Actually, we just got bangers after bangers from third party devs, and Sony just hasn't been as present this time around. And the problem now is generations are not nearly as clean cut as they were before. There are still a lot of people that are still on the PS4. Like a ton. The monthly active users on PS5 just recently overtook PS4. So like it's 2026 now. Like the PS6 was supposed to release in a few years, so that's actually insane that they just overtook the PS4. I mean, things will change when Grand Theft Auto 6 releases, of course, in this year. But like, when the PS6 arrives, Sony really has to give consumers a very strong incentive to swap to the PS6 because they certainly did not with the PS5. This was detail, and man, this console generation was alright, but not as great as it could have been.